afternoon, everyone. I'm Monica Rohel at the Enclave. I'm a resident educator. Today I'm going to be showing you guys how to make self-rising pretzel bites. They're a little bit healthier than the normal kind, just because all it really requires is self-rising flour, plain non-fat Greek yogurt. Those are our base two ingredients. Now for everything else, and baking soda. Sorry, those are the three ingredients you really need. The rest are just by choice. So your other options, it really depends on how you want to make the bites. So if you want to make just regular salted pretzel bites, just get sea salt, sprinkle them on top. Or if you're like me and have a sweeter tooth, you would use cinnamon and sugar and make the cinnamon churro flavored pretzel bites. Of course, you could always substitute the cane sugar for brown sugar and make it a little bit healthier. And with that, of course, you want to use some butter to coat the pretzel bites. That way the salt can stick, the sugar, and the cinnamon can stick as well. There is a third option that I do like doing. So this recipe could also be used for just little pretzel circles. So if you make pretzel circles, you can make it as a pizza crust. And I like to add a little bit of marinara sauce and some pretzel bites on top. So I'm going to be doing the cinnamon sugar ones today, because those are what I made yesterday and I have those to show you. But like I said, you could always just choose whichever one you would like. All right, so let's get started. So the first thing we do is wash our hands. Give me 1 minute. Now that that's out of the way, let me show you some, I guess, tools that we're going to use today. So normally you would use the dough hook in a mixer. I don't have that fancy mixer, so all I use is a bowl and my rubber spatula, and I just fold in the dough. Other things you will need, you need a cup a 1 cup measuring cup. You need a 1 tablespoon measuring spoon. You need a regular spoon, a knife, a bowl, and of course a measuring cup for water. So those are our tools that we're going to use today. So the first thing we do is get our mixing bowl and self-rising flour. Normally this recipe calls for 1 cup, but I'm going to be doubling that recipe today. So I grab my 1 cup. Of course, remember we want to level out our flour. I just pop it right back in the bag. No waste. There's 1 cup. Now, 2 cups. Of course, this is going to take a little bit longer to fold in, especially because it's doubled and because I don't have the stand mixer, but that doesn't mean we can't do it. So I have my 2 cups of flour. I'm done with the flour, so I'm going to put it to the side, out of the way. Now, I need to rinse off this because I need to use this again for the yogurt. Just a quick little rinse. Pat it dry. There we go. And we are going to use 2 cups of yogurt. See, this is why I like having a spoon on the side, because it's much easier than trying to scoop this in there. Just toss it on top. And 2. think you could use any type of the Greek yogurt. I choose non-fat, but of course you can use any other type. So I have 1 cup, and again the spoon is useful because you just go, and I need 1 more. Big lump in there. Another big lump. And there we go. We have our 2nd cup. We drop that in there. So here's where the longer part comes in. It is going to take a little bit to mix in the dough, like I said. Normally you would just leave it in your stand and it would do the hook, or like I guess the hook mixer for you. But here we have to fold it in ourselves, and you just keep going until it forms a dough. And it might seem like forever, but it will happen. It's just going to take some patience and a lot of arm work. Just gotta keep going. Right now all I'm smelling is yogurt, the Greek yogurt, but it will start kind of smelling like a biscuit dough towards the end. See, so far it's starting to look like that. You just gotta keep going. Keep folding it in. Now, you don't want to completely put your self-rising flour because we're going to use it away because we're going to use it again right now. And we're going to use it to just coat our countertop with a little bit of flour. So when we roll out this dough and when we cut it into the pretzel bites, it won't stick to our counter and make a mess. It's slowly getting there. We're almost there. It's almost forming a dough. It's starting to smell like that biscuit. Like a biscuit, sorry. Now it is, like I said, sticky. So even before you put the dough on the counter, or I mean the flour on the counter, I would sprinkle some on your hands when you start mixing, because you will be using your hands to mix. You could use gloves if you would like. I ran out of gloves, so we're going to wash my hands again, and we're going to use my hands to really roll that dough. Okay. I'm going to keep going for another minute or so because it is starting to form. I'm telling you, this is a workout. But look, it is starting to form into a dough. I told you, we'll get there. Now, if you have a hand mix or a stand mixer, good for you. This is less work. We are getting there. Okay. All right. I think all my flour is mixed in. Definitely want to make sure it's mixed well because you don't want to bite just flour. Okay, so I'm going to leave it like this. It should just be a little ball right now. I'm going to put it to the side. I'm going to put away my Greek yogurt so it doesn't go bad. Okay. We're going to bring back our flour. I know you're wondering what the rest of the ingredients, the baking soda, the butter were for. We'll get to that after this. So you want to get, like I said, about 2 tablespoons. I'm just going to use my counter space. You could use parchment paper on it so it doesn't stick. I'm just going to toss it in there. I cleaned my counter space right before we started. So there's 1 tablespoon and 2 tablespoons. This you don't really have to level out like I do, but I just go ahead and spread that flour everywhere. And remember, like I said, we want to maybe add a little bit of flour to our hand. My hands are washed, of course. I'm going to get that dough that we made, and I'm just going to toss it right on the counter. Now, you need to knead it for about 3 minutes or so, and then form it into a ball. Because once it's in a ball, it's going to make it easier for us to cut and turn into ropes. This will take a while, but I promise those little snacks are pretty good. So I'm just keep kneading and kneading. Now, like I said, you could also use different ingredients to put on top to top. Today I'm going to be using the cinnamon sugar. You guys can make it into just normal salted pretzels, turn it into pizza bites with some marinara and pepperoni. You can add all different kinds of things. Or you can just make it into a big giant pretzel. It should start not being so sticky. It should look like that right now. If it is, sprinkle a little bit more flour, it won't hurt. But just keep kneading it and really push into it. Awesome. I'm gonna cut this in half because I did double my recipe. I'm gonna put half of it back into the bowl for now. And I'm just gonna keep this half right here. Noah, get out of here. All right. So let's see. Once I have a ball like this, right, we're gonna cut it 4 different ways, all the way. So let me put it on here and then I'll show you guys. So 1, 2. It should look like that. 4 different ways, right? From here, it is much, much easier to make our ropes because you want to roll it. And you can do that too. I like to use my hands like this because it's faster as opposed to rolling it on the counter. And now here's where you guys decide how long or how big you want your bites to be. I tend to have them maybe just about this big, not too big. You just keep going until you have something that looks like this, right? From here, you grab your knife, a little bit of dough, and you turn them into little bites right here. Again, you can make them as big or as little as you want. You just keep going. 1, 2, 3. There, I'm just putting them on the side for now because we are going to be doing something with them. And again, you just repeat the same process with the other ropes. I'm only going to show you 1/2 of it because it is going to take a while if I do. You just keep going. If you find that your flour is starting to get sticky again, just add a little bit more flour onto your counter and you should be good. And you keep going. All right, we have another rope. And again, you repeat the process. You cut. Now, of course, that whole pizza idea would only work if you make like bigger chunks. I mean, unless you find a way to stuff them inside, that works too. Again, repeat the process. I'm only gonna show you guys this last roll and then I'll move on to what we need to do next. Let's see. Okay. And lastly, we're going to cut again, make your pieces, and you should be all good. Now, here, let me wash my hands real quick. Here is where you use your bowl and your measuring cup. You're gonna get about a cup of boiling water, because remember, I'm doubling my recipe. Normally it calls for half. I'm putting it into my bowl, and I'm gonna pop this in the microwave for about 2 minutes so it can boil. Meanwhile that's boiling, I'm gonna put away this flour because we no longer need it. And I'm gonna start making our topping, sorry. Now, like I said, you can use salt. I'm choosing to use cinnamon and a little bit of light brown sugar, just to kind of make that churro taste. Put my knife to the side. I like to grab just a disposable plate. I don't really measure this part. I normally just go, I play it by ear and I just kind of toss some cinnamon on there. And I grab some sugar. And again, this isn't measured, this part at least. You put however much you'd like. And then you just mix it together. Whoops, I used granulated sugar, not brown sugar. Okay, well, you could also do that. See, here I might have put a little too much cinnamon, so maybe adding a little bit more sugar wouldn't hurt. But again, if you do want a healthier option, go for all beans. I feel like this recipe is already a little bit healthier than the normal pretzel bites, and it's a little less work. So towards the end, you should have something that looks something like this for your mixture. Right? That smells so nice. I'm going to put it to the side because we are going to use it after. Alright, I know you guys can't see it, but the water is bubbling up. Here is where you take 1 tablespoon of baking soda. I'm going to grab it, level it, and toss it in that boiling water. It should bubble up a little like that. It is a little weird, but it happens. You grab your baking sheet. You could just use the same spoon. I'm going to go ahead and grab this and put my little bite in here and toss it right in that bowl. Let it be for a few seconds and place it on our parchment papered pan, baking sheet. You're going to repeat that process with all the little bites you have. It should be wet. And pop it right on our baking sheet. Same thing. Have it happen over and over. You could be fearless and just pop those in there. But you definitely will need a spoon to take them out because it's hot and boiling. Same thing. Pretzel bites. they don't really, I mean, they grow, but they don't expand that much. So even if you have them a little close together, it's not bad. I'll show you right now how far apart I like to put them. Now, the good thing about these is, I know it took a little bit long to, you know, fold the dough, but they do not take that long to bake. So that's the good news. They normally just take about 7 to 10 minutes. I like to check them at 5 minutes, just kind of peek through that oven window. You'll kind of see them get a little bit golden. And that's when you know they're almost done. All right, let me just finish putting these in right now, and I'll show you what they look like. All right, so this is what your things look like. They're just little bites. They smell like pretzel dough, or it smells like pretzel dough. I'll put this back. All right, so here is where the butter kicks in. Now, I normally just pop my butter in the microwave for like 15 seconds and it melts it. So we're gonna do that really quick. Let's see. I cannot believe it's not butter. I just grab a little mug. I use a spoon. I grab like that much. You don't need a lot. That's all you're gonna need. I pop it in the microwave for again like 15-20 seconds. Now, I did forget to mention, this whole time, you probably should have preheated your oven. I always forget to do that. Or I might have mentioned it, I'm not sure. You preheat it at 425. So that way, by the time you're done doing all this, your oven is already preheated. I'm going to take my time preheating it because I still have a lot of dough to get through. But I'll do that right now. My butter should be done. See? It melts pretty quickly. You can't see it. And then I just use the same spoon that I used for baking soda. I grab a little bit of butter, and that's when you just kind of coat. You kind of just go for it. Now, this is what you do when you're doing the salted ones. That way the butter helps the salt stick on top. I normally do cover them a little bit with butter when I do the cinnamon sugar. And then when they come out, I put a little bit more butter so the cinnamon sugar can stick. I do that after as well. All right. So that is pretty much how you do the pretzel bites. Normally you pop them in the oven, 425 for about 7 to 10 minutes. Again, I checked the pretzel bites a little earlier. This is what they look like. They looked better yesterday, I promise. But they are delicious little bites. And the cinnamon sugar ones taste like, or the cinnamon sugar ones taste like churros. And yeah, so I hope you guys enjoy this. It is a little healthier version of pretzels with self-rising dough and non-fat Greek yogurt. I will put the recipe